All right, welcome back, guys. We are back out here fixing to start working on the red car again. I got it turned around in the other video, and I started kind of cleaning up in here a little bit. Just vacuumed it out a little bit, and I kind of started poking around. It's a little worse up here than I thought, but not near as bad as the driver's side. There's just a little spot, but it looked like it was just some pinholes, but then when you started poking at it, you know, it's more than what I had anticipated. But, you know, I mean, maybe just a little spot there won't be too bad. And then I found this little spot here is going to have to be fixed, and which, you know, we talked about this spot in the last video too. In this spot, so I gotta get that, and then of course the back. But I think I'm gonna do the front part first, which I have a toe board, so we won't have to use the whole patch. And then I've got this little spot around the drain hole that I gotta do, which that won't be too big a deal. I try to get most of this sound deadening off. I haven't got all of it off yet, but some of it don't want to come off, but the majority of it did. But yeah, this is, oh yeah, it's a little worse than I thought, but still it would be a smaller patch than what we had over there, because I'm only going to try to do what I have to do. You'll use less metal and require less welding. So, but first things first, I'm gonna get this door off and get it out of my way, make it easier, and then we'll be able to see if there's anything up in there where the door bolts on, if there's any rust. There wasn't any over there. I was surprised, so I guess that's good. But yeah, starting to get some pretty good surface rust right there, but I don't think it's through, so I think we can just sand that down and put something on it and it'll be all right. I don't think anything in there too bad, but man, I'll tell you what, this old car is rough. Rough. But anyway, I'm gonna get that door off and then we'll get right back on them floor pans. So I got the piece cut out. I think I cut it out big enough to eliminate all the rust and got into decent metal. I put a little primer on that inner brace before we weld the new patch in. I've got it marked kind of where I think I need it to be. I'm gonna trim it a little bigger and try to fit it. I normally don't have luck doing that, but I'm gonna give it a shot this time. The laying it down and cutting both pieces out at the same time has not been working out real good for me, so we're gonna try it this way and see what happens. But I gotta let that primer dry for a few more minutes, so I'll go ahead and get this piece here cut and try to get it, you know, as close as I can, and maybe I can just, you know, hopefully get it to fit really good, you know, better than those two pieces have. Of course, it's them contours that throw me off. You know, it ain't like you're just laying a piece of flat metal on top of a piece of flat metal and cutting it out and then putting a new piece in, you know, with all them contours and stuff, and don't want to sit down in there just right. It always gets the ends where it curls up, always, you know, when everything drops down to fit in there, then I have too big of a gap for me to weld. So I'm gonna attempt to eliminate that this time, so we'll see how that goes. Have I mentioned before that I don't like doing metal work? Seems like I've said that a time or two. So, got it in there. I put a couple of tacks on this side because this side is right where I want it. I put one right there, well, a couple of bad tacks right there just to hold it in place. I'm still gonna have to trim there, and then this is gonna have to be pulled up. But I'm gonna try to take my die grinder now that I've got this side where I want it and cut you know, this all to match. And I'm just going to cut a little bit at a time and tack it as I go, I think, maybe. And then I'll have to do the same at the top. But, and this is a big but, if I've got my calculations right, this, when everything gets cut out and drops down, that should be where it needs to be. It's not going to be, but it should be. So I may have to do the same thing there once I get it. You know, I'm just going to do a little bit at a time. But this piece, like all the rest of this crap, does not fit worth a shit. I mean, the contours are wrong, and the bends are different. So I've had to take it out and like put it on the floor and hit it with a hammer to try to flatten it out, and you know, get where it curves up to the trans tunnel was off, where it went up to the toe board was off. It wasn't even close. So I got one screw holding it in up here too, and then I think my cut on the original floor pan's about right there. So I'm gonna try to go up just a little bit. You know, I really wanted to be under there, but I'll have to get under there and see where, I can't remember where I'm at on it. This side is, or this end right here is pretty close, but it does overlap a little bit. So I'm gonna take my cutoff wheel and try to straighten that up as best as I can. And then I've got these little things I'm going to try to put in there and hold it up while I tack it, and hopefully that all works. Probably won't. It's probably going to be just as bad as all these others over here. So, but that's just kind of where I'm at right now. I've been fighting this piece for almost an hour now, probably longer, maybe even longer than that, just to get that little piece even close. This is why I don't like trying to transfer a piece, you know, over to another piece and cut it out and make it fit, because it just never does. Especially when it's got all the curves, and you know, if it was just a flat piece, I don't think it would be that big a deal. So I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, ooh, I hate this shit. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. But that's the last piece I've got. And I mean, I think I still have the front floor pan. I don't know how far up it goes. It goes up pretty far, so if I mess this up, I can cut this one up too and redo it if I have to. But I don't know, we'll see. I'm gonna keep plugging along on it and see what happens. But I mean, it's getting there, it's getting close. It's just not as close as I wanted it to. But I think I can salvage it, but we'll see. You know how that goes. Well, it's in there. It looks like damn it, but it is in there. I got it tacked in quite a bit. I still, you know, got to finish welding it like everything else, but I definitely got more of it done, I guess because it was a smaller patch. And got a few places where I blew some holes in it that I got to fix. But yeah, it's like all the other stuff, you know, it just takes forever. I've been out here all damn day just to do that little patch. And I really thought that I would get this whole side done today, but that ain't gonna happen. So I may go ahead and try to work on some of these little spots while I'm out here tonight, and then maybe get back on the rest of it some other time. But yeah, it's just, this is so time consuming for me because I'm so bad at it, you know. But I mean, I guess it just takes however long it takes. But yeah, that was rough, like all the rest of it. You know, I really thought this piece was going to be super simple, but it was not. But I may try to do these little spots next. I don't know what I'm gonna do. It's pretty, this one's pretty mangled up, so I don't know. But I may just go ahead and try to cut out all the bad and then go from there. See how this goes, trying to make these pieces. Probably not well, obviously. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but I mean, it's in there. I mean, it's going to be solid when I'm done. It's just going to be ugly, but thankfully you won't be able to see it, because once I get it all welded in, it's all going to get coated, and then it'll have carpet and sound deadener and all that stuff on it. So I mean, I'm afraid to look at what it looks like from the underside. It's probably going to be bad, but I'll seam seal all that and undercoat it once we get to that point. But I'm going to wait till I get all of it done, the floors, the trunk, everything, before I worry about all that. But let me piddle with this, trying to see if I can make me some little pieces for that and see how that goes. Probably about as well as the rest of this. Alright, so I kind of worked on this corner here. It actually turned out pretty good. It looks like crap right now, but once you get it ground down and get some filler on it, it'll look pretty good. And this thing works really good to try to get that contour right there where because I had to weld in a piece there. So I'll probably fill that back in maybe with a little more weld and then grind it down to make, because this is kind of, you know, rounded in there, so that'll work real good on it. But I had to put a piece, I cut all the way across here, back here, and down. So there's a piece here that comes all the way down to here, and then this flat piece right here, and I just kind of welded it to it. And I kind of tried to roll it over a little bit and get a little rounded, or a little roundness to it, kind of like this. But I think it'll work pretty good once I get it all finished welded, and then I gotta get some more flat discs. I think I'm out where I can grind it smooth, and then I've got some fiberglass reinforced filler. We'll, you know, just blob over it, and you'll never know when it's done. I hope that's the plan anyway. But I'm happy with how that turned out. So maybe that front one won't be as bad, and then that little hole up there. There shouldn't be too big a deal, I wouldn't think. But yeah, I mean, I think that, of course, I got to do something on the back side. I got to take that trim piece off over there, because whatever's back here was all rotted out. So I may just have to put like a little filler piece back in there, but I can do that, no problem. So, but yeah, I think that did pretty good. I mean, my welding sucks, but I mean, that's why they make grinders, right? Grinders and filler will make, you know, everything great, especially when you weld as bad as I do. But I'm gonna keep messing with it. I may tackle that little front piece now, and I don't know, we'll see. I don't know how good you're gonna be able to see this because my battery on my light quit working. So I made me a little cardboard template that I think I can get in there, and I can fold it down the way I got it cut, and just cut out all of that, and then just cut it right here. And of course, this is rotted out on the other side too, over here. So I'm just gonna make me a flat piece to mimic this right here and weld it. And then once I get this piece cut, then I'll kind of see where I need to cut everything, and then cut this piece off and just, you know, trim it to fit just like that and weld it up against, just cut that whole piece out, because that's just the lip for like where the kick panel trim goes around. But I've got some flat over here, because all this stuff that I have I've cut off of these is got contours to it, but I've got a piece of flat over here that I'm going to try to use. I'm going to cut that out, and hopefully it'll work. We'll see. The good thing about this stuff, I mean, as small as it is, if I screw up a little piece, like, you know, because I screwed this one up and just where I had tacked it in and screwed it up and cut it out and just made another piece. I mean, it's really not that big a deal. And again, you're not gonna be able to see this mud. I mean, you'll get to see it a little bit, but who's gonna look at it that close, especially once I get it you know, ground down and smooth. And I'll put some type of paint on it, you know. I'll do the jams, because I did that on this car too. Like, I went in and painted all the jams black, and even the trunk and all that. So I'll probably do that on this car too. I don't know what color I'll use, but I mean, they're already gray. I may just find some gray that color and see if I can match it or get close to it, or hell, I don't know. I may do it. May do it red, since the car's supposed to be red. But I'm gonna try to get that little piece cut out, and then when I get it cut out and kind of fit, I'll come back and show you kind of what I'm trying to do. I know I did this whole thing without filming it. I was going to, and then I just got kind of hyper focused on it and forgot to get the camera, so I'll let y'all see what I'm doing on this one. Alright, so the plan is to get this piece in there intact up here and maybe down in there and across here, and then fold all this over and then weld it. That's the plan. That's kind of what we did back here. It worked out all right, I guess, but I think if I can get it maybe behind that, I think that's going to give me just enough room to roll that edge. I may have to trim it a little bit to match up with the body. So that's what we're going to try to do. And then I doubt that I've got this like I want it, but and I fold it over, but it'll be close enough. Like I said, we ain't going for show car perfection. We're just going for, let's not have holes all in the car, you know. It's going to be ugly as a mud fence no matter what I do, but I'm just trying to make it solid. So that's kind of the plan. I'm going to throw a few tacks on it, and then I'll come back and show you what I'm trying to do. Alright, so I put a few pretty solid tacks on it, because once I start hammering on it, I didn't want them to break loose. So I'm going to try to roll this edge down, just, you know, by tapping on it, and hopefully roll it how it needs to be. I don't know if this is going to work. If not, we'll just cut it out and start over. But I'm going to try to set the camera up, or maybe y'all can see what I'm doing, but I really got so much stuff in the way. I don't know if the camera's going to sit anywhere that I ain't going to knock it over. But we'll try. Bear with me. Hang on. Maybe you can see that. door hinge is right in my way. I think that's good enough where I can tack that right there. Of course, I knocked my weld loose up there, but that's all right. I can go back and fix that, but I'm gonna have to re-cut that. Throw a tack on this. See if I can do this without knocking the camera over. Gotta watch y'all's eyes. Oop, I heard one pop. Which one was it? I don't guess it matters. I'm gonna have to go back and redo, or finish welding it anyway, but yeah, I'm gonna have to lob that little corner off, I think, to get that where it needs to be. And this needs to go down right there too, I think. Need a better, let me get a better hammer. So this is starting to turn into a disaster, but I think I got it fixed now. But I finally got this rolled around like I wanted. I had to cut a little relief right there to get it to do what I wanted. And I put a couple of screws in it just to hold it, because every time I would go to, fold this over, this part would want to raise up and do a bunch of weird stuff. And I popped a couple of welds here, so I've cut them back out and I'm gonna redo them. And but yeah, I think that contour right there turned out way better than I thought it would. But I don't know, my welds just ain't very good. But I think I can work with that now. I don't have big gaps or nothing. I mean, it fits real tight right there. Of course, I've got that where I made my cut. I can feel that pretty good. And of course, this was all seam sealed anyway. Like, it just had spot welds and then was seam sealed. So I started to just do that, just drill a couple holes and spot weld it and then seam seal it. But I don't know, I want to go ahead and I got to weld all this anyway, so I'm just going to go ahead and weld it all, and then I'll fill it with, once I grind everything down, I'll fill it with that fiberglass reinforced filler and just be done with it. But it is getting late. It is way past my supper time, so I think I'm gonna throw a few more little tacks on this just to hold everything, and then I'm gonna call it a night. This has just been way longer than I had anticipated. I mean, I thought this was just gonna be quick little, we're gonna knock this whole side out, and we ain't even close to being done yet. I did have to take the door hinge off. It was in my way. I couldn't swing the hammer like I needed to get it like I wanted it, but I am, if I can get my welds to do better, I am happy with how this piece turned out. I decided not to cut this whole thing out. It's just got a little pinhole back there. The hole that I thought was rusted out is a actual factory hole. I don't know if you can see it, but it's right there. So I thought that was all. Of course, then I cut that. I'm gonna have to stitch that up. And but yeah, I think it'll be all right. But yeah, I'm gonna throw a few more tacks on it. I don't know if I'm gonna get back out here tonight. I may come back out tomorrow and at least try to finish that hole there. I don't know if I'll have time to get back on the, you know, the whole floor pan or not. I don't know what to do with this. I don't want to cut that whole front floor pan up just for that one little spot, but I don't know that I could make that and make it look decent. So I don't know what I'm gonna do there yet. Seems like that would be quite a waste just to cut a little section out of this whole floor pan that, you know, I know my son's car, he needs floor pans anyway, and what I didn't use I was going to let him have, so I would hate to cut that little section out for just that one little spot and ruin that whole pan. But I don't know, I don't really guess it needs drain pan or drain holes in it. I may just make a little square and just fill that whole thing, you know. Just, I don't know, there's so many contours and stuff though. I'm sure I'll just wind up cutting that one up and using it, as bad as I hate to. But yeah, this, whew, I do think it's going to be fine though once I get it all smoothed out and everything. I don't even, unless you're just looking, you're not going to be able to tell, I don't think. So this actually went better than, you know, the floor patches. But I probably should have started on the rear pan first and saved this for last, but I thought, oh, this will be just quick little stuff. I'll knock it out while I'm right there, and famous last words, huh? But anyway, I'm gonna throw a few more welds in it and then call it a night. Well, don't look at my ugly welds, but it's good enough. I still gotta, you know, like finish welding it and then grind everything down, but it is nothing that a grinder and some filler won't take care of, and you'll never even know it was done. So, got the two corners done, and the front pan, or the front little patch, has taken me all day, late into the night. It's just ridiculous. And it's ugly as a mud fence, but it'll work. I'm happy with it. I think it's, you know, good enough for what we're trying to do here. But I think I'm going to end this video here. I'm ready to, well, I got to clean my mess up and make sure the car don't catch on fire. I know I've said in videos past that anytime you're welding on something and grinding and making sparks and stuff, don't just immediately close your shop up and go in the house. Hang around for a little bit, make sure, you know, nothing catches on fire, or because nobody wants to burn their shop down and all their hot rods. I sure don't. But anyway, that's where I'm going to end this video. I always appreciate everybody watching. I know I say that at the end of my videos all the time, but I just want everybody to know I do appreciate it. I do notice, you know, my regulars that are always commenting and liking my stuff. I see y'all and I appreciate it. So get out there and work on your junk, and we will catch y'all on the next one.